Hello, my name is Alexandra. I have this YouTube channel called Alexandra the Average where I talk a lot about fashion personalities and my ADHD-ness and how I'm getting through my diagnosis that I'm only addressing now in my late 20s. And today I actually want to talk to you about something that I've been talking about a lot and that I've been having a lot of conversations about, which was dressing feminine in the workplace. So if you're wondering why right now I'm giving Buckingham Palace, is because I have a work event. And I was talking about this with someone where I was going to wear a white suit because I wanted to dress masculine, because I had this inherent feeling that I felt more serious when I dress masculine, and I am the one who is hosting this event and in charge of this event. So as someone who was kind of running the show, I felt like it would be appropriate if I wore a suit. But I didn't really want to wear a suit. I saw this drop waist dress and was like, oh, I would really love to look like Sophia Loren right now. And I decided to wear this instead. And I realized that one of the reasons why I wanted to dress masculine is because I wanted to be taken seriously. And I don't think that's really fair to myself or women. I think it's setting a bad precedent. So today I'm going to give you a video essay on why I think you should dress feminine at work, why I am going to start dressing much more feminine at work, and the problem with work dress codes and school dress codes in general. So please make sure to hit that like and subscribe button if you'd like to see other rants and me talking about other outfits. Let's dive into it. Dressing feminine at work can not only empower you, but it can also challenge really harmful stereotypes that we have as women. And not even as women, as anyone who's more feminine identifying, you probably face a little bit of discrimination in the way that what is deemed effeminate or girly is not taken nearly as seriously. And I want to challenge that notion right here, right now. And by promoting body positivity and inclusion and femininity, we can create a much more diverse workplace instead of a bunch of gray pantsuits. So there's also like a background to it. There's like the media has really harmful stereotypes when it comes to women, and we really portray them as weak and childlike and really does lack diversity. So the narrow portrayals of this is used to make men look better, and I would like to blame the ingenue. It's wonderful to see how Gen Z has like done the exact opposite, where they are in this space of being like, well, I'm girly, I'm gonna dress up for the Barbie movie, I don't care what you think. And I love them for that, because I would have not had the guts to do that when I was in my early 20s. Workwear has been really there to impose gender norm and reinforce gender roles. The feminist movement led to a difference in workwear, leading to like a much more fluid approach. There was an era where women were demanded to be at home, but the war came around and then jumpsuits happened for women, because obviously someone needed to do the jobs at home. And then in the 1960s and 70s, everything was about dresses and skirt suits. One of my favorite workwear designs is the Dion von Furstenberg's wrap dress. That was originally meant to be a workwear dress that going to be comfortable and very easy to wear for women. And it was flattering to all bodies, including mine. I still wear them all the time. But you have to take into account that the 80s rolled around, and then everything was about getting closer to men as possible. So you have a lot of shoulder pads. You have to make your shoulders look broader, which also in turn makes your waist look slimmer. So trade-offs. You also have more pantsuits. You see a lot less color. It feels like we've been taking femininity and trying to shrink it to make sure that we can make space in the world for us. I dress feminine at work, and you either have people who really love it. I get a ton of compliments on my outfits because I dress up all the time. Or you get people who kind of think I'm dumber and sillier for it, and I'm really just there to look cute and make a few jokes. And yes, I am there to dress up and make a few jokes, but I'm also there to get things done. I am really focusing on the fact that I really believe that we should be working towards a environment where people can express themselves regardless of gender identity. But I also dress very feminine because it makes me confident and comfortable. Everyone should be able to dress themselves or express themselves in a way that they find that makes them happy and confident, no matter what others might think. Unfortunately, some people view fashion as being very frivolous and silly and unimportant, but there are a lot of benefits to dressing nice. I was recently reading this book called Beauty Pays, which is It's a great book, but they dive into all of the reasons why attractive people and why people who present themselves and put more effort into their appearance are actually more successful in the long term with their long-term relationships, pay, with the way that people view them. And it is a entire book confirming that pretty privilege does exist. It really does. And I'm not saying that you need to look more beautiful for work, but I am saying that if you would like to dress up and try to make yourself more beautiful, there's nothing wrong with that. It seems like when we try to allow women to be feminine, we view them as being dumber, which is stupid because, again, beautiful people make more money. And yes, that does mean that there is a pretty privilege and there are some people who are going to get ahead more than others. But it doesn't mean that you should not try. You should not hold people back if that makes you happy. If you feel beautiful and confident, then you're going to be happier. People need to be able to embrace their personal style and actually leads to increased productivity and creativity in the workplace. Feeling good about yourself can really lead to better job performance. Feeling comfortable and control of their work attire can lead to higher job satisfaction and a greater sense of fulfillment. Research has shown that dressing in a way that makes you feel authentic to yourself can have a positive impact on job performance and job satisfaction. Feeling good about one's appearance can lead to more job offers. It can lead to higher performance evaluations. It can lead to better earnings. When people feel comfortable and confident in control of their work attire and how they present themselves at work, it can lead to higher job satisfaction and greater sense of fulfillment in your careers. So it's kind of a win-win for both. It's a win for the employee because they're bringing a better version of themselves because they put effort into themselves every day. Jonathan Van Ness on Queer Eye has a point, and it's great for the employers because they get a better employee, they get a happier employee, meaning less turnaround. Let me tell you, if I worked somewhere and they said, I think that you should maybe tone down your clothing because I don't even dress that bold, I would be so upset. And I know that because there have been times where I have been criticized very heavily for what I have worn, especially at work. I have been considered dumb and frivolous and not capable of my job. That I put in effort and time into myself, I could bring the best version of myself forward instead of letting insecurities run me, which I'm assuming that the people who are saying things like that are very insecure. Workplace benefits in diversity in so many forms, in terms of dressing and when people are free to express themselves through their clothing, it fosters a really inclusive environment, an accepting environment. Unfortunately, women can get penalized for being feminine at the workplace. I have had many microaggressions throughout my entire career. It can lead to negative consequences for them, which is fucked, if you ask me. We need to recognize all of these biases and work towards creating a workplace that values diversity and inclusivity in all forms and gender identifications. Women supporting other women in the workplace, and I will say that a lot of the people that thought I was dumb and stupid were other women. And I'm not saying that men don't do that because let me tell you, some of them do. But the people who were the meanest to me were other women who were judging me on my outfits, thinking that I was dumber than them because of that. We need to challenge these harmful stereotypes and biases to create a workplace culture that values and empowers all people who are feminine identifying. As it is important to embrace femininity in the workplace, it's important to promote body positivity and accept all body types. The media has long perpetuated a harmful and really unrealistic beauty standards, which can lead to body shaming and negative self-image. In recent years, there's been a growing movement towards body positivity, which aims to challenge these harmful beauty standards, which are really just the male gaze. And I don't dress for the male gaze. I dress for myself 90% of the time. I dress for my man about 10% of the time. And then the rest of the time when I'm dressing for that, I'm dressing for other women to compliment me in the bathroom at bars. This also means we need to accept people's bodies. It feels like fatness is the last way that we can discriminate against people. They have found that this is actually true. The Economist did a deep dive on this where they confirmed that it makes economic sense for women to be as skinny as possible, and that is awful and toxic. It's an actual tragedy and it needs to change. There is a financial benefit to being thin, and that's crap. It's also important to recognize women of color who face even greater pressures to conform to really narrow beauty standards in their own workplace. We need to include women of color into this conversation. And while researching this, I found a lot of video essays on women women of color who were really much just trying to embrace femininity and being soft. And while I think there's nothing inherently wrong with being feminine or soft, I do think there's something wrong that we expect that more of women of color than we do of white women. I know that because I am only half white and people don't expect that of me. I was watching Shan Spear's video essay on feminine performativity. I'm gonna link that in the bio down below. But she touched on the fact that white women have this luxury of being able to roll out of bed and go to work or go do something. And that's not really something that we expect of white women. That's not something that Black women can do. We also need to empower individuals who were not born as cis women, who are female identifying, regardless of gender identity or expression. We need to include them in this conversation. I have coworkers and I have friends from other jobs who were female identifying, who were not born as women, and who did get discriminated against, especially by their peers when it came to the workplace, because it made them uncomfortable for no logical reason. While dressing feminine can be empowering for some, it could also be equally as uncomfortable for some. There are some women or some people who really just want to dress masculine, and I celebrate that. The world is also here for you. I think the fashion world is going to accept you so much because we love a woman in a suit. I love a woman in a suit, but I want to express that expressing yourself and having a very unique style is important to you. It's important for you to express, and you should be able to express in the workplace. It's crucial to create a workplace environment that really does empower all people. I'm gonna say that about 50 times in this video essay, regardless of how they choose to present themselves. This includes respecting those who choose to embrace their femininity. We have really molded women into feeling comfortable or what is deemed societally accepted for them to wear and how to present themselves. And that starts at a very young age. That starts when you're in school and you're told that your body is distracting to a young boy. But let me tell you, there have been many times where I've been picked on and had my hair pulled at school and no one stopped me in my tracks. But if I wore a shirt that was too low cut, very distracting. I would also like to acknowledge they would still stop me even though I'm packing very little. It kind of puts women in this place that how they choose to present themselves is supposed to present themselves in a way that conforms to men versus something that's beneficial to all. And that's where I draw the line, because I really do believe that you should be able to do both. You should be able to present yourself in a way that makes you comfortable, and you should be able to present yourself in a way that you actually want to. But school standards have put us in this place of, I feel like you shouldn't wear that because it makes men uncomfortable. I asked my followers, should I wear an off the shoulder top to work, even though it covered everything except for the shoulder? And let me tell you, a lot of people said, no, I should not wear that. And you know what I did? I wore it to work. And you know who complimented me? My HR rep. We expect women to cover up and be more masculine because it fits in a narrative at work. We look down at women for dressing nice and putting effort into their appearance because it makes you look dumb, even though it doesn't. We just expect people to be dumb. There's a lot of people who think I'm an idiot, and you know what? Let me tell you, sometimes I am. I'm sometimes not the smartest, and I've made a lot of really poor decisions. But also, a lot of the times I know what I'm talking about, and I bring my best self forward. And because I've had that experience, I find myself second guessing myself all the time, and I am learning how to rebuild my confidence close to my 30s, which is stupid. I should not care what other people think, and that's really the biggest narrative that I want to focus on right now. Lizzo, a really popular singer and body positivity advocate, commented about the narrative on her body and how exhausted she was. And she's not alone in that narrative. Many women face the same issue of being judged and criticized for their bodies and what they wear. But the most powerful women, the women who are the most successful, the women who are the most interesting and who have the most amount of say and power are the women who have let go of that narrative. We still face a lot of criticism for dressing a certain way. And let me tell you, I am not alone in that. I face that every single day. Whenever I post an outfit on my Instagram, I get at least 1 or 2 comments saying that I look like trash. And I don't care. It's really unfortunate that we live in a society where we feel really comfortable commenting on what people wear. But we really need to let go of that narrative. Those people who comment on our clothing should not have any power over us. We should dress for ourselves and not for the approval of others. So, final closing thoughts. Your clothes can be an extension of your personality and individuality. Please do not be scared of dressing in a way that makes you feel authentic to you. So the reason why I dress girly for work, I dress girly for work because it gives me a ton of confidence and makes me happier. But the real reason is because I want to.